A light breeze whispered off the South China Sea, bringing a cool relief in the sultry tropical darkness to the man who lounged against the rail on the deck of the cargo ship Pulau Tenga. The heat of the day had been intense, as always. Thunderclouds had gathered above Batam at 4 that afternoon, but although the skies had blackened, threatening flickering stabs of distant lightning had illuminated the gloom above the turgid sea, the anticipated storm had not broken. The weather had been humid, the air close and stifling, men dripping with sweat as they prepared the cargo ship for the voyage. They had sailed with the tide, cargoless, the crew of 7 men anticipating a short, trouble-free voyage into Malaysian jurisdiction. Once they left Indonesian waters, a feeling of relief crept over them and their mood lightened, now the edge of danger had dissipated. They passed the glittering lights of Singapore and turned north. Off Johor, they dropped anchor, and now it was only a matter of waiting for a few hours until the agent came on board later that night to bring the appropriate documentation and advise the skipper on the arrangements for delivery of the Pulau Tenga to its new Malaysian owner. There was now time to relax, enjoy the respite, contemplate what they might do with the money that was coming to them, open the brandy and the beer and the whiskey. Charlie Min was shirtless as he leaned on the rail, his dark, lean-muscled back gleaming with the sheen of sweat, as he drew on the reefer and contemplated the glittering stars in the black sky high above the deck. There had been a current of edginess during this last voyage. The skipper had been nervy as though expecting trouble, but there had been none. They had delivered the cargo safely at Batam with no interference from Indonesian Navy launches, and now they had left the dangerous waters and could relax. No cargo, no worries, a job well completed. Charlie's task was to keep watch, but they were safe in Malaysian waters, protected by bribes already paid. He drew on his reefer, hearing the noise of the carousing below deck and regretting that it had fallen to him to maintain the watch. He could have done with a few cold beers. He left the rail, wiping his face with a greasy bandana, sat down, leaned back against a hatch cover. He dreamed for a little while of the days of his youth in the kampong in mountainous Sabah, below the typhoon belt, the land below the wind. But then his thoughts soon drifted to the woman he and the rest of the crew had all enjoyed only a few days earlier. It had been a bonus. The family had been drifting, a small boatload of economic migrants heading blindly out to sea, expecting to be picked up by the people they had paid handsomely to transfer them aboard a cargo ship so they could be taken on the long journey to Australia. They had been hoping to avoid the Australian Navy and land on the wild northern shore for a better life. Charlie Min bared stained teeth in a vicious grin. The worries of the would-be emigrants were over now. The Pulau Tenga had plucked them out of the wind-whipped sea in which they were drifting, sinking, desperate. What few valuables they possessed had been torn from them. The 2 men, the old woman and the child, had been quickly dispatched, thrown overboard, while the young woman had been detained on board the Pulau Tenga for a few pleasurable hours. His body stirred at the memory. She had been young, inexperienced, before they had taken turns with her. Charlie wished now that the skipper had not been so strict, insisting that when they were all sated, she also should be consigned to the waters, her throat cut like the others.